Hey fam, I want you to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Roland S. Martin. And don't forget to turn on your notifications. All right, y'all, let's talk about...
Let's just hang him and put him away, throw away the key.
We ain't gonna hang him.
Let's put him in jail and throw away the key with no trial.
We're gonna be in prison. All right, y'all, last night, of course, Democrats were supposed to take up a resolution against Ilhan Omar, Congresswoman from Minnesota, where they say that she made anti-Semitic remarks. Now, the House... they had some issues because, let's just say the House Democratic Caucus erupted today against Nancy Pelosi, Speaker of the House, led by members of the CBC. Ilhan Omar is a member of the CBC. The CBC, progressives, and new members pushed back hard against Democratic leadership and Jewish members, saying they wanted no resolution or a wider one condemning all forms of bigotry. Now that resolution is off the table, and Republicans, of course, are hitting Ilhan very hard. This, got our panel here, Michael, this is an example of Democrats. Let's just be real clear. Democrats always want to, it's a purity thing. We're going to show you how to do the right thing. Republicans don't care. Steve King is still in Congress.
He is.
And the reality is, it's a lot of people who are saying, I'm sorry, this is not anti-Semitic. Senator Bernie Sanders is out today saying the attacks of her are wrong and this wasn't anti-Semitic. And so
I don't agree with
you got House Democrats who are saying, don't go there.
Well, look, I mean, is it hypocritical for Republicans considering Steve King? Sure.
And the president.
But
and Steve Scalise.
Wait, I'm not making an excuse, Roland, but what I am saying is that I think you can critique our policy with Israel. You can criticize Benjamin Netanyahu. You can criticize the settlements without having characterizations of Israel or Jewish people that some folks may find offense to. And I think when you're a member of Congress, I've worked for a lot of politicians, you have to be very, very careful with your words. Everything matters. And for someone like her, she has a great platform. She's defied a lot of odds, been only one of 2 Muslim American women in Congress. I think she has to be even more careful because the spotlight is so much on her.
There's a difference
and I'm not taking away from her right to critique and criticize.
But the point, though, is, the reality is, how, if you make a criticism of Israel, it is immediately spun as anti-Semitic.
But Roland, you can make the criticism of Israel without saying, oh, you must have pledged allegiance to the Israeli state or something. Or using some type of tropes or something. I mean, you can critique something without...
Hold up. I actually read, and I read this last night, because you used the word pledge allegiance.
What exactly did she say?
Hold up. I'm going to read here. This is Representative Juan Vargas, California 51. This is what he said. Quote, "It is disturbing that Representative Omar continues to perpetuate hurtful anti-Semitic stereotypes that misrepresent our Jewish community. Additionally, questioning support for the U.S.-Israel relationship is unacceptable." Unacceptable?
Well, now that I don't. I agree with the first part of the statement, but not the second part. I mean, you should have members who have the ability to criticize our foreign policy relationships with various countries.
But he's saying unacceptable. And this is my point. Lauren, there is this view that if you are an American politician, especially a Democrat, you cannot criticize anything dealing with Israel and U.S. relationships.
Yeah. And as somebody who was Andre Carson's communications director, the second Muslim member of Congress, I can tell you that he didn't have to say anything to get death threats. He didn't have to say anything to be criticized. He didn't have to say anything to be called anti-Semitic. I suspect that long before any of this happened with Congresswoman Omar, she was likely getting some of the same treatment because we saw a lot of it on social media before any of this happened. So nobody wants to talk about that part of it, like the violence that these members who are in a religious minority group in Congress get. So I think that that's something that needs to be discussed. You know, the fact that a lot of members of the Black Caucus brought up the fact today in the Democratic Caucus and in their own meeting that there have been a raise in hate speech in the last 2-3 years.
From the floor.
From the floor of Congress, you know, from the White House. Okay, so their point was, why aren't we bringing that up in a resolution? You know, why aren't we talking about the whole
No, we
piece?
should. No, I agree.
So,
you can't just target one person and not take into account all of the other individuals.
And some of these members wanted to put Ms. Omar's name, Congresswoman Omar's name, in the resolution, which is a highly unusual move.
Now, what we have here, we have Republicans who do not like a Muslim member of Congress. There are people who've been coming after her from day one. You have people who call her anti-Semitic remark when she said it's about the Benjamins. And it's like, oh, you're saying, in terms of Jews and money, yet there's video of Donald Trump, we played it last night, standing before Jewish Republicans, I don't need your money, I don't need your money. And they laugh, and then you people love to negotiate. And he literally said that. You have Jim Jordan using a $sign in reference to a tweet talking about Tom Steyer, okay? Yeah. Billionaire.
If she had done that.
George Soros as well. And so, but it's really interesting. But again, though, those are the little games being played here. So I see why CBC members and progressives and freshmen are pushing back by saying, wait a minute, hold up.
Right.
If it's going to be one standard, make it one standard.
Right.
It's not going to be a different standard.
And one level of accountability. You forget that Donald Trump didn't want black people counting his money either, and he only wanted people who had yarmulkes on the back of their heads counting his money, which was disclosed during the campaign. It really is about accountability, and it's easy to be about accountability because we ought to be denouncing all religious hatred, racial hatred, homophobic, Islamophobic hatred, and put all that in the resolution. I tend to agree with my Morehouse brother here, Shermichael, in believing that I do think elected officials have to be more responsible. And when I say more responsible, what I mean is if your words matter and you want to make a statement that you know would be subject, rightfully or wrongfully, to that type of criticism, you know, you got to hold back or say it a different way. You got to be real careful because you know that's out there. One, you're a Muslim, and two, when she said all about the Benjamins, she was talking about, she clarified and apologized, she was really talking about the money that's influenced politics from all interests, right?
Got it.
But you can't be irresponsible like that. You got to be responsible when you're talking about something that could be construed as anti-Semitism.
Now the question is,
what recognize that her voice, of course, in this moment, as a member of a religious minority group in Congress, is amplified. But let's face it, the minute that she arrived. The minute that she arrived,
got to know that.
she's got to know that. But wait a minute, you can't blame her for the fact that the minute she arrived, that right-wing social media was on her. Okay, I'm just saying.
But that doesn't change the dynamic of her needing to be very careful in her articulation of her position.
Hell, if they want to be on her, be on Steve King.
No, she can.
She can say the same thing.
I'm not making an excuse for. No.
Steve King has been doing this for 10 years, and nobody says anything on the right
bringing up Steve King does not inexcuse someone else from making the same mistake. So why are you bringing him up?
I'm bringing it up because everybody's silent on the right. Everybody's silent on the right for Steve King.
You haven't heard me excuse Steve King.
I'm asking you. Everybody's silent about Trump and Steve King.
Every Republican? You've quantified this? I mean, I'm just being honest. I mean, you can't make a blatant statement that said everybody.
What have you said about Steve King?
A whole lot. I've been on television on MSNBC for. Are you kidding me, Lauren? Where have you been? I'm being honest. Have you been sleeping under a rock?
So you've said as much about Steve King and Trump as
you've said about Omar. Are you kidding me? Oh, yes. Check Ross' story. You can Google it.
Good for you.
I'm just being honest.
Tell your friends in your party. Tell your friends in your party.
I'm just being honest.
Right? You guys want to get crazy about Omar. Then you get silent about stuff that goes on in Charlottesville.
Okay, I'll let you finish. Okay, can I talk now?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Now, let me say this. You cannot say that every single conservative have jumped on this bandwagon of attacking this woman. You can't say that with 100% certainty.
I can't say that with every single one. Wait, you're right. Yeah,
you can't. I mean, come on. Let's just be logical about it.
We can't say every single one of anything.
But, okay, going to my second point. To bring up Steve King as an attempt to excuse someone else's behavior is a logical fallacy.
But I don't think she was bringing it up to excuse it. I think she was saying both are accountable, have to be accountable for their bad statements.
On certain things, and then you want to get crazy about this. That's what I'm saying.
That's a fair comparison.
I'm not
That's a fair
disagreeing
comparative.
with the point that you
But
can't have
both
a
are wrong.
standard that
both
that's
could be
applicable to all
wrong,
people.
right?
What I'm
But
saying
the
is,
accountability.
be even.
Put everybody
Be even in your
that
accountability.
Lauren, I'm not
Be
saying
even in your
that, I'm not
accountability.
saying that the standards shouldn't be applicable to both sides.
Good.
That's not what I'm saying. I mean, that wouldn't be a logical argument to make. What I'm simply saying is to say, well, Republicans, because you guys haven't done this, then we should completely ignore what other people are doing. I don't think that's logical, and I don't think that's fair.
Who has been the impetus of hate speech for the last 2 years? President of the United States
Sure.
or Ilhan Omar? Who's been the bigger? Who's been the
Lauren,
bigger impetus?
You're not
going to
get me to disagree with you.
Good.
So I don't understand the premise of your point.
We're good then. We're good then. I'm glad you're not.
We're good, Roland.
Well,
what else do you have?
Again, as I said last night, I am still waiting for Ronald McDaniel, Romney.
You're definitely not getting that.
I'm still waiting for the Republican National Committee to condemn the West Virginia Republican Party for putting Representative Ilhan Omar's photo on a poster linking her to 9/11. If the Republican Party, if any member in the GOP in Congress has any decency, they would call for the condemnation of the West Virginia Republican Party. They would call on the governor of West Virginia, Republican, to condemn them. They would call on the Republican United States Senator to condemn them. They have absolutely no credibility whatsoever when that poster there was put together and Republicans and the party and Donald Trump, who leads the party, hasn't said a damn thing. All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment. All right, folks, Ford Cares, one of our partners here at Roland Martin Unfiltered, and calling all HBCU alumni, students, and leaders. Enter the Ford Motor Company HBCU Mobility Challenge and win $25,000 for your school. Building on their long-term support of HBCUs, Ford is looking to improve mobility in HBCU communities through innovative solutions. The winning program will receive a grant of up to $25,000 to implement the proposal. Now, the deadline to apply is March 31st, 2019. Go to FGB.Life, FGB.Life for more information to apply. Folks, this is your HBCU. It's free money. All you got to do is go to the website, FGB.Life, for more information. Ford goes further in our community. Now back to your Roland Martin Unfiltered video.